Appearing from out of the blue, the Vamps are a British indie pop group that exploded onto the scene with their debut track Can We Dance, which funnily enough has Bruno Mars as one of its many songwriter contributors, and last week it peaked at number 2. On the surface, they may seem to be another manufactured boy band put together to appeal to the lowest common denominator of consumer, but what makes them different from groups like The Wanted and One Direction is the fact that all of them play their own instruments. Whether they are indeed a manufactured product with zero substance remains to be seen. However, what's the song like? Can We Dance is your standard party style song where the main is hitting on this random girl who desperately wants to bang. Whilst the lyrics are cringe inducing as well as on the same level as the atypical boy band junk that has no substance, is generic and is deliberately aimed at the naive single-minded female audience, at least I can say the music isn't that bad. So what if the guy says he's drunk too much? That doesn't excuse this douchebag from behaving like a slob. Then again, isn't that what girls like? An inebriated dickhole that has about as much charm and appeal as a case of VD? Following on from his smash hit Love Me Again, John Newman delivers Cheating, a song where he is eloping with a woman who is already with someone else but is more than willing for this to continue, as he says, cheating is the thing you do. However, he would never cheat on her. Ah, what a gentleman. Happy to have relations with an already taken woman, but above doing the dirty himself. Love Me Again stands out as this dark, brooding song with a powerful music accompaniment and was going to be tough to follow, and unfortunately for me, Cheating falls short. That's not to say it's a bad song. The music's certainly got some flair and is upbeat despite the song's topic, but for me, it lacks the sustaining power that Love Me Again has. Also, what kind of shit is Newman into? One minute he's begging to be taken back after doing the dirty, and immediately after that song, he's the one getting involved in illicit relations himself. Kind of inconsistent if you ask me. And hypocritical. Still, John Newman is one of the very few young talents out there right now, so all the best to this guy. It's strange to think that it was 8 years ago that James Blunt erupted onto the scene with You're Beautiful and a worldwide hit album. He's had a tough challenge in meeting this early success, and due to this, everything he's done since then has been very mediocre, and his last 2 albums have shown exactly that. And now with his newest single, Bonfire Heart, Blunt is continuing to stagnate, proving once again that he's at his best when he's writing about wallowing in depression and not when he's writing love songs. Bonfire Heart centres mainly on how Blunt is grateful for the fact that he's finally found someone who will put up with his miserable mug. With questionable lyrics like your mouth is a revolver firing bullets in the sky, this song is saccharine in the most boring way imaginable, and it's tough to connect with the song when delivered by Blunt's whimpering vocals. Not even the inclusion of the backing vocalists can inject any sort of feeling or emotion into the benign lyrics. It's pretty much what to expect as far as music's concerned. It's Blunt's trademark guitar playing accompanied by a seemingly never-ending bass drum thudding that gets so annoying that it'll give you a migraine by the end of the track. The Saturdays have loaded the gun for me once again, and I'm ready for the backlash from all who hated my review of their last song, which I still stand by. Disco Love is a dance track that's kind of a send up to disco tracks of the years gone by, referencing Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, Baby One More Time by Britney Spears, Evelyn Kin, and even wordplaying Donna Summer into the song. Much like What About Us, the track has a looped electronic beat that never changes and has over repetitive lyrics. However, I will say that What About Us doesn't have as much of a repetitive nature to it like this song does, and at least that song knew when to take small breaks every now and then, even if they were very brief. In a year where uninteresting generic dance songs have been relentless and have multiplied by the bucket load, Disco Love has done what 90% of them have done: failed to be different, failed to be distinguishable, and failed to be memorable. In a time where girl bands are very few and far between, and of those girl bands who were promising, like Stussy, have seemingly sunk without a trace, or interesting girl bands like Haim have to slum it out in the middle of the table, the opportunities to reign supreme is there for the Saturdays to take, and since creating generic music is how you do it these days, I say go for it, girls. Continue being your generic selves, prey on those who don't know any better. After a relatively successful 2012, Conor Maynard returns with Are You Crazy, a song about a girl who is trying to get back with him after she supposedly cheated on him, and he just smacks down every single plea she's making. Whilst I have issues with most of the production quality of the song, as well as the cheese grated to the brain auto-tuned vocals scattered throughout, I don't think this song is that bad. Probably the most enjoyable of all the newest releases this week, and that's partly down to the lyrics. The relentless smackdowns delivered by Maynard, and at times quite bitter and and hurtful is kinda satisfying to listen to. Who doesn't enjoy hearing lyrics like, "Shall I lay down with your sister," and "Here's my middle finger"? Sure, it's quite spiteful, but so what? Who doesn't enjoy a bit of malice every now and then? It's definitely different to what's out there in the charts right now, and I'd probably say that this was one of the better songs of the year if it wasn't for the god-awful production. It's a case of less is definitely more regarding the music, if you can call it music. Through relentless trying and without the help of Timbaland, OneRepublic achieved their first #1 single last week with Counting Stars. Starting off in the dredges of the top 40, Counting Stars exploded into the top 5 seemingly out of nowhere, and after a few weeks of hanging around the top 5, it eventually knocked Jason Derulo off the top spot. Now, anything knocking Derulo off the top spot was a step in the right direction, so congratulations OneRepublic. However, it feels that with Counting Stars, they've taken a leaf out of Chainz's book. Lower your writing standards, create something that's below what you're capable of, and pray that the consumers will be dumb enough to buy it. And surprise, surprise, they did. To tell you the truth, I actually thought that this was Train when I first heard this song. Compared to other songs of the OneRepublic discography like Apologise, Stop and Stare, and All the Right Moves, in those songs, the lyrics were more meaningful, more direct, and accompanied by music that added to the overall feel of the song. I don't really get the message of what this song is trying to say either. Instead of counting dollars, we'll be counting stars? Okay, why? What for? What can stars offer you that money can't? It's overly repetitive, weak, and a particularly bland song to boot. Eminem's return from his disappointing outing in Relapse was tinged with uncertainty. Sure, he has come back way more improved than his lyrical delivery on Encore, yet it was clear he was far from when he was at his best back in the early 2000s. Berserk is an attempt from Eminem to show that he is capable of delivering the same material that made him such a huge success back in the day, and whilst there are certainly signs of him doing that, I have to say that this is far from his best material. Nevertheless, it is a million miles better than what he's released in the last 5 years. The beat's raw, energetic and powerful, even if it does feel a little too overproduced at times, and the lyrical delivery from Eminem is slick, fluid, and full of clever wordplay that's very remnant of his early records. Taking away the sometimes abusive use of vocal effects that distort his voice and almost kills the track, and the use of filling up space with repetitive noises and words that are a little annoying, if this is what's to expect from his upcoming album, I think we can all rest easy and be assured that Eminem's Encore and Relapse days are far behind him, that he's learnt from his errors and can deliver a solid album. I guess only time will tell. It was inevitable that at some point in time we were going to get the obligatory love song from Miley Cyrus, and we have one in the form of Wrecking Ball, a song where the singer voices her anguish over a recent breakup. Last time I ranted on how much I disliked We Can't Stop, and I stand by my comments. Whilst Wrecking Ball is certainly more listenable than We Can't Stop, and she certainly offers up something more genuine and sincere lyrics wise, Wrecking Ball doesn't really light up the charts in any way. What could have been a deep and emotional ride is overshadowed by the production, which seems like it's trying to force the sentiment of the song down our throats rather than let the song play out and convince me that as the listener, Miley genuinely believes what she's singing. There's certainly something there as far as the lyrics go, and the metaphor of a wrecking ball is certainly a strong one, way better than James Blunt's one of a bonfire I might add, but the punch is really lacking the impact. It's not a terrible song, in fact it's probably one of the more better songs in the top 10, which for me shows that this huge shake up of the top 10 is really poor. It's just an okay song.